So our next speaker is Tara Shea. She's from the Mining Association of Canada. As a director of the Mining Association's Toward Sustainable Mining initiative, Tara is responsible for the day-to-day management of the program. Specifically, her responsibilities include producing MAC's annual TSM progress reports, detailing member performance in all areas of the program, coordinating and delivering training workshops, and promoting the Towards Sustainable Mining initiative across the industry. Tara previously worked for the municipality where she was responsible for delivering economic and community development initiatives. Tara graduated from the University of Windsor with a Bachelor of Arts in International Relations and Development Studies, and the title of her talk is Toward Sustainable Mining, Driving Better Environmental and Social Performance with Site-Level Assurance and Public Reporting. Just welcome, Tara.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to come and talk about our Towards Sustainable Mining program. I'm grateful to be here, but I was also grateful to listen to the thoughtful presentations that came before mine. So I'm with the Mining Association of Canada. We're similar to PDAC, however, we represent the producing companies. We have a very diverse membership, mining, smelting, refining, diamonds, coal, oil sands, and we also have many associate members, so law firms, schools, consulting firms. And the Mining Association of Canada is responsible for the creation of the Towards Sustainable Mining initiative, which I'm going to talk about. So in a nutshell, TSM is a sustainability program that was meant to drive performance at the mine site level. It's about engaging with our communities, implementing environmental standards that raise the bar, and committing the resources to protecting the safety and health of our employees at the mines. Just a few points. It's mandatory for members of the Mining Association of Canada to implement TSM at their facilities in Canada. It's been recently adopted by the Mining Association of British Columbia, the Quebec Mining Association, and just a few weeks ago, the Mining Association of Finland announced that it is adopting TSM for its members. So it was developed in 2004, and over the last 11 years, it's grown in a really amazing way. So just a few of the strengths of the program. It's about accountability. So it's assessments are taking place at the mine site level where they're most meaningful. Corporate level assessments don't always tell the true story of what's happening on the ground. It's transparent, so annual reporting takes place of those assessments, and the credibility lies in our National Community of Interest Advisory Panel, so a multi-stakeholder group that monitors the progress and implementation of the program. Just a little bit more on our Community of Interest Advisory Panel. It really has been imperative in shaping TSM. It's a diverse group with representatives ranging from environmental NGOs, international development, and Aboriginal communities. And they meet twice a year to talk about issues related to sustainable development and towards sustainable mining, but also just the industry in general. They're, a sounding board for MAC, but also they bring ideas to us. So their most recent meeting was in Saskatchewan, and they were hosted by Cameco, and they toured two of Cameco's facilities in northern Saskatchewan. They met with the local communities, and they discussed what MAC can do in the area of climate change. So that's just an example of the types of conversations that happen at these meetings. And so this group of people meets with members of the MAC Board of Directors. So the most senior people come together twice a year. Everything the panel does is transparent. You can go to mining.ca and download all of the meeting reports going back to 2005. And annually, the panel contributes to our Towards Sustainable Mining Progress Report by contributing an annual statement. We don't edit the statement. They're free to write whatever they'd like. And it's always very, very thoughtful. So there are three main pillars of towards sustainable mining. We have environmental stewardship, communities and people, and energy efficiency. So under environment, we have tailings management and biodiversity conservation management. Under communities and people, we have Aboriginal and community outreach, safety and health, and crisis management planning. And then under energy efficiency, we have reporting for energy use and greenhouse gas emissions management. And the Community of Interest Advisory Panel was involved in developing these standards, but also any updates, and they're monitoring the progress and implementation of these as well. So within each of those 6 areas, we have we have a set of indicators. There's a total of 23 indicators that the facilities report against. So, for example, under Aboriginal and community outreach, we have community of interest identification, effective COI engagement and dialogue, COI response mechanisms, and then reporting. And for all 6 of the areas, there's a different number in each of them, but they follow a similar formula. So you have to have a policy or a commitment to that area. You have to have a management system implemented, and you have to be doing review, monitoring, and reporting in that area. So for each of those 23 indicators, with the exception of crisis, but I won't get into that, the mines are assigned a letter grade, C, B, A, AA, and AAA. A being you have systems implemented, AA and AAA, meaning you're going above and beyond. So for example, in energy use and greenhouse gas emissions management, you're investing in renewable technologies at the AAA level. But you need to have a good management system in place before you're going to get credit for some of those AAA activities. And C and B are companies who are still working on developing a comprehensive management system. So we have a verification system as part of the program. Every year the companies self-assess against those 23 indicators. Every 3 years, a trained auditor comes to the site and verifies those self-assessments. In that year, their CEO must submit a letter of assurance to MAC, which is posted on our website, and it states that their verification, followed their terms of reference. And then every year, this is the most interesting part to me, every year our COI panel selects 2 to 3 companies who have gone through external verification to come to the panel meeting and present their verified results. And I've heard this compared to a PhD defense. So you're going to present in front of your panel, and that's the most interesting part of the program to me personally. So as I said earlier, we're transparent. All of the results are published on our website in our Towards Sustainable Mining Progress Report. We publish at the facility level, so those grades C, B, A, AA, and AAA are all published at the facility level. And then we also publish graphs showing the trends for the industry. So that's just an example there of the Aboriginal and Community Outreach Protocol 2006, 2013, and 2014. So you can see, if you just look at the first indicator there, back in 2006, less than half of the membership got a level A or higher for community of interest identification, and now we're at 92%, can meet all of the criteria in that area. So given this is the Aboriginal engagement stream, I thought I would spend a couple minutes talking about our Aboriginal and Community Outreach Protocol. So back in 2008, the Mining Association of Canada introduced a mining and Aboriginal peoples policy framework. And this is really just, high-level value statements about what MAC members should be doing or commit to doing in this area. And since then, we've introduced an Aboriginal and Community Outreach Protocol to measure performance and help companies implement strong management systems. This protocol was originally called Community Outreach, but back, I think it was 2007, 2008, when there was a decision to separate Aboriginal people from just community outreach, given the relationship between mining and Aboriginal communities, we wanted to have specific criteria for engagement with Aboriginal communities. And as I mentioned, there are four indicators within that protocol. And so I've just got a few bullets there on what does good practice look like in this area. So I won't read them all out, but things like employees receive appropriate training in engagement practices. Input from your communities of interest is used to support your decision making. You have a response mechanism. You're tracking any complaints that are coming in. You're providing assistance to your communities to participate in engagement and things like that. And given that we're in Manitoba and we have two member companies operating here, I thought I would just share their results and a couple of examples. So Hudbay Minerals in Flin Flon, those are their 2014 results for Aboriginal and community outreach. So they've got AA, A, and AA for the four indicators. And then Vale Manitoba Operations, they're superstars up there, and they've got AAAs across the board. And I should mention that both Hudbay and Vale have been involved since the beginning, so we would expect to see them with high scores. Some of the companies that are coming in and are becoming familiar with TSM and building their management systems, they might be starting off at those C and B, but we're not seeing companies stick at that level. Over the years, they are progressing in all 6 of the protocol areas. So here just, what does this look like on the ground? In my opinion, Hudbay Minerals has fully integrated Aboriginal and community outreach into their management systems. They've got a community liaison officer who's responsible for community engagement, and they have a comprehensive community engagement standard, which you can find on their website. So in preparing for this presentation, I reached out to Hudbay and said, can you send me some examples of what you've been doing? And they sent me about a 6-page document of very tiny font of what they've been doing. So I've just got a couple pictures here. So they participated in National Aboriginal Day this year, a job fair. They were involved in a consortium on technical vocational training and how the mining industry can better engage with students, and we can do a better job at job matching between students and companies. And their discussions have focused on topics from training initiatives to the environment over the last year. And then Vale Manitoba Operations, they are actually the recipient of the 2015 TSM Community Engagement Award that we presented at the CIM conference in May for their Thompson Economic Diversification Working Group, or TEDWIG. This was facilitated by Replan, and it was really meant to bring a multi-stakeholder perspective to what does development in Thompson look like as Vale scales back their operations. So they had a diverse representation. They had First Nations. They had municipal representatives. Vale was there, of course. And from that, they looked into what are the priorities for the community. So things like housing, education, economic development, infrastructure. So it was a span of 2.5 years, 20,000 hours of engagement, and $2 million. But the results are really significant. Not only are people are saying the TEDWIG way is the way to do consultation, but they've got these plans for the future that they're working to implement. So it was really exciting, and so they were presented the award in May, and recently they hosted a luncheon because Vale wanted to bring all of the members to Montreal to celebrate this award because they didn't see it as a Vale award. They saw it as a working group award. So they had a luncheon a couple of weeks ago to celebrate this, and the City of Thompson put out a press release. So as MAC, we were really excited to see that we implemented this award system, and it's really having benefits on the ground. And that's my last slide. Didn't realize it was the end, but thank you very much, everyone.